Alrighty, folks, it looks like the mayor race in New York is all but over. It looks like a Democrat, socialist, some would call communist, is about to be the mayor of New York. And I want to talk about somebody who spent a lot of time in New York and understand what may happen soon thereafter. Taylor, looking at the chessboard, let's assume for the moment that there are no surprises and Mamdani wins the mayoral race. Where do we go from here? What do you think happens? What does, what doesn't? I think there's a lot of chatter. A lot of it is just noise and won't actually happen. But I'm curious, as somebody who's deep in this, where does New York go from here?
Yeah, it's interesting. So to wrap some numbers around it, as of last week, I didn't look at it today, 93% odds that Mamdani wins the mayoral candidacy. And it's one of those things where I don't really like to speak out politically that much because I'm really not right. I'm not left. I agree with some things from both sides of the equation. But when you go far enough left to start associating your name with socialism, that's where, the concern starts to.
It's where capitalists may have a problem.
My spider sense gets a little bit twingy on that. Yeah, I mean, when you look at what I understand why people are excited about him. I understand that when you say, hey, we're going to give free childcare to everyone, we're going to give free busing to everyone, we're going to give all of these things, it has a nice ring to it.
Oh, it sure does.
Like any logical person knows that you don't get things without taking them from somewhere else. And I think that
and the message there is, I mean, again, he's nailing the message, right? I'm going to give you a bunch of free stuff and I'm going to tax the evil rich people. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's his message. Of course, it's going to ring true.
Yeah.
However, there's always a however, right?
Yeah. However, is the fact that if you are a wealthy person living in New York City right now, and I will get to why you need to care about the wealthy people in a second, even if you're not wealthy, you need to think about what they want because they're very important to an economy. If you're a wealthy person in New York City right now, you are going to pay, with Mamdani's proposed tax changes, an additional 2%, which is going to take your income tax to 54% between state, local, and federal income tax. You're going to give away 50%, more than 50% of your money to some form of Uncle Sam. And that is punitive.
Oh, and I would even go one step further. That's where it starts. It's going to be 2%, and then he's going to get in and it'll be 3%. He clearly sees billionaires and rich people as evil, and he's gonna rake them over the coals every chance he gets. And again, it's a message that resonates, right? What does he do? He pisses off 1,000 people, but he gets millions of fans.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell the rich people is, yeah, maybe you can swallow this 2%, but how about another 2 and another 2 and another 2?
Yep. And then how about we tack on 4% to corporate tax as well?
Because why not? Just because.
We're basically trying to squeeze out JP Morgan. And California just went through this. California, as you know, as a resident there, you just
past resident.
There you go. Past resident there, but they squeezed out Tesla, right? That was taxes. And so at the end of the day, it's like, why do the wealthy matter? Well, again, it's a fraction of the total population. I totally get that. But the wealthy make up, the top 10% of earners make up 50% of spending. So,
well, it's even more than that. I mean, I knew that is an absolute true statement, right? The K-shaped economy, all of that. But if you really look at who pays the taxes, the top 1% of income earners pay like, I don't know, 60%, and the top 10% of income earners pay 90% of all taxes.
Yeah.
So they're going to go target them to pay more. That's what I always laugh at. I'm like, let's make it fair. I'm like, they're already paying 90%. Why is that fair?
Right. Well, and we act like New York is this destination that everybody wants to be in. Like it's not. I think that during COVID, a lot of people realized that you can move outside of New York and still have access to the capital, the business, everything that takes place there. You can do it without the traffic. You can do it out with the stinky streets in the summer. You can do it without all the hassle that comes in getting onto that island, in and out all the time. It's as someone who lived in the metro area for 10 years, it's not a destination that, yes, it's fun when you're 25. I'll give you that. Yeah. It is a place to be when you're 25. It's not a place to be when you're 45 and raising kids and stuff like that. And those are the wealthy folks. And we're not talking about having people move to another country. Like, no, you move across the border to Connecticut. They have really
Yeah.
low state tax. Like, that seems like an ideal solution for a lot of people, and it will happen.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about this because, again, sometimes there's a lot of chatter and a lot of people saying things, but then they don't actually follow through. And most recently, we had people threatening to leave the country if President Trump won the
Yep.
presidency. Now, a few
Yep.
people did leave, but not most of them. Most people who made that threat are still here. And I wonder about New York, right? There's a lot of New York wealthy people who have said they're going to leave if this guy wins. Do they actually leave, or do they just suck it up and just keep being about their business and wait for the next election?
It very well could be. But like I said before, this is not moving out of the country. This is not going to Canada. This is not going to Europe. This is going to a 15-minute train ride away. There's so
Yeah.
much difference there that's just being blinded. This is how many times throughout history do we need to see the playbook repeat itself before we understand what economic circumstances work and what don't work? When you start disincentivizing people from working, incentive needs to be tied to everything we do in order to have someone work hard, right? You don't want to go sit down at work next to someone that's working half as hard as you and make the same amount of money. At the end of the day, that's an extreme form of what socialism is. And that's what
Mhm.
that's what they're building in the biggest city in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I do think California is a great example of what happens. Even San Francisco, right? Folks may not remember this, but back in 2018 and 19, San Francisco adopted a tax on tech companies. I think it was something like if the CEO made 100x what the employee, right, the average employee made, they got this additional tax. Well, guess what? A lot of tech companies left San Francisco, to your point, 15 minutes away, 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away. There was other cities that didn't have this punitive tax. And the last thing I'll say about this is the wealthy aren't like most of us. And that's why I really went with that Trump thing, right? A lot of people said they're going to leave if Trump. The wealthy aren't like us. They have options. They likely have more than one home already, right? They likely do. And it doesn't take a lot to go, you know what? I'm going to spend 6 months somewhere else, and I'm going to change my residency to maybe Connecticut, to your point, maybe Florida. We've seen that. Again, this is really funny to me, right? One of the lessons I learned way back in school, right, when I got my MBA was money goes where it's treated the best. And right now, money in New York is going to be treated very poorly, and people will leave. It's a fact. You can argue how soon, right? 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. My over under for New York City is 18 months. It's going to be a disaster dumpster fire in 18 months.
I know you pride yourself on being a man of the people, but like you've worked your ass off and you are wealthy and you left.
I
right?
left. I left on purpose. Yeah.
Yep.
Can't
And has
stand Gavin Newsom.
any single person that is on here right now that has been to San Francisco in the past 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever the number is, they know I went and I was like, I had never been to San Francisco before, full disclosure. And I was like, whoa,
They have a
this is
poop
not
app.
pretty.
Yeah.
This is not a pretty sight whatsoever. Yeah. And one of the other things, by the way, being proposed by Mamdani is we're going to have city run grocery stores. And it's like, okay, well, point to one place on planet Earth where you can show and prove that a government run business is going to be more efficient, more effective, better for the community than one run by a city employee or a city, in taxpayer dollars.
The one that really gets me is buses. Right. I heard Mamdani say, why are we going to give free buses so criminals don't board and beat up the bus drivers? That was his answer. Right. We're going to stop bus drivers from being beaten up. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. But your bus system is going to be wrecked very quickly if it's free. People are going to sleep there. They're going to do whatever they want. It's going to be disgusting.
How about the other riders on the bus that are sitting next to folks there? Like,
oh, they're not going to. It'll just be a movement of waste around the city. It's exactly what San Francisco has tried in different forms. That will be the thing. That's the buses. I think that will go downhill fast.
That'll break it. Yeah, and listen, I want to be clear on something too, and I don't think you would make this argument. Like, I don't think either one of us don't realize that the color of our skin, the families that we were born into, all of those things have put us on third base relative to other folks.
Sure.
And so I'm not making the case that like everybody born in this country has perfectly equal opportunity. Like that's not reality. But this is not the solution to cure that.
No, it's And I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again here. I hope he wins. I hope he wins. I really do. I really hope
I
he
said
wins.
this to you last time you said that. I said, that's because you live on the opposite side of the country. You want the point to be proven.
I do. I want, I feel like every decade or two, we've got to give socialists the good try. And then we could take pictures. And now we have video. There are going to be videos created. Like these buses are going to go downhill in like 6 months of city run buses. They're not going to be repaired. They're going to be in disrepair. They're going to be just disgusting. And people are going to walk through and do YouTube and Instagram feeds. And that's what happened in San Francisco. All these
I was going to
videos-
say, I thought we tested this on your accord, not on mine, on my coast.
Well, I guess we got to try it on the West and the East. But again, the election's next Tuesday. It looks like he's got a 90+% chance of winning. Again, you know, I hope he does. Maybe he's figured it out. Maybe he'll be the first socialist communist that gives everything away and finds a way to pay for it. Who knows?
Yeah, we said
we'll
on the last video, this time's different.
Yeah, this time's different. Exactly. Taylor, where can people find you?
Yeah, find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you.